Do you have something that you feel you have to do with your life, but you keep on falling off the bandwagon? Well, then this book is for you. In this video, I'm going to cover Steven Pressfield's book, The War of Art. Now, Steven Pressfield is the guy who wrote novels like The Legend of Bagger Vance and Gates of Fire. And the most encouraging thing from this book is to realize that even world-famous authors struggle with sticking to things and actually finishing them, what Steven calls resistance. So what is resistance? Well, resistance is what gets in your way when you're trying to achieve any kind of goal. Whether it's a new business, writing, painting, music, eating healthy, or just going to the gym. Resistance is that little voice in your head that says, let's snooze for another 10 minutes, or let's leave it and do it tomorrow. As Pressfield says, you need to know. But if you fail to resistance today, you're twice as likely not to do it tomorrow. So why do we feel resistance? Well, resistance is there to keep you safe, to ensure the status quo and keep you exactly where you are. Resistance is based on fear. A fear of bankruptcy, a fear of poverty, a fear of being selfish, of failure, of being ridiculed, a fear of throwing away that education that you worked so hard on, or of disappointing your parents or your spouse or whoever. But above all, resistance is based on a fear of success. A fear that you can actually become that person that you're dreaming of becoming. A fear that you can achieve those goals, and what then? But resistance only shows up in one direction. It only shows up when you're trying to improve yourself. You're never going to feel resistance when you want to snooze 10 more minutes, or when you want to put it off to tomorrow. And Pressfield has a brilliant rule of thumb for this. He says, the more important a call or action is to our soul's evolution, the more resistance we will feel towards pursuing it. So the more resistance you feel, the more something scares you, the more you know that you have to do it. And that's resistance. So how do you get past resistance? The only way to get past resistance is by turning pro. You have to think of yourself as you incorporated, become your own business. And we all know how to be a pro already. If you've done any kind of job, no matter how much it sucked, you were a pro. You showed up every single day. You stayed there all day. You were committed to this job. Whether it was another company next year, you were in it for the long run. And this job had high stakes. It was about putting food on the table. And that's how you need to think about whatever it is you want to achieve in your life. You have to become a pro at that as well. You need to show up every day. Stay committed. Keep on grinding no matter what, and be in it for the long run. And the funny thing is that when you start doing that, weird things start happening. You stop caring about the results so much because you know you're going to be back tomorrow again. You're going to be grinding tomorrow. Whether you fail or succeed, you'll be back. And that's the difference between a pro and an amateur. I hope you enjoyed the short little summary. Pressfield writes beautifully in this book, and you can see that he actually writes novels for a living. In it, he also shares a small story about how he almost never even wrote The War of Art. He convinced himself that he only writes novels. He doesn't know anything about writing a book like this. But he pushed through his own resistance, and I'm really glad that he did it, because this was a beautiful book to read. That's it for this book. I'll see you again next week with my next book summary.